Nah, that sounds good. Hello, and we are live. My name is Robert Lyon, here with Gino Nadarov. Today, we're going to be talking about how to multiply your money, mindset stuff, funding, credit repair, the whole shebang. So, I mean, we don't have to go into too much detail, but we got one of our clients just on a whim, 5 Amex cards. Like, that's pretty powerful, man. I mean, that alone can change somebody's life, right? And I mean, we hear a lot of people like, first it's like, oh, how are you going to get us the money? And then we get them the money and then they don't know what to do with it, right? So I was figuring maybe we'll talk about how to multiply your money, or maybe just like money mindset. What's on your mind? You just said you were really focused. What are you thinking about these days with money?
Yeah, I was just thinking about how to multiply the money, right? So,
Yeah, exactly.
so, so it's always the fun task of it's hard enough to make money, but then you have to figure out how to multiply that money. That way you don't.
Right.
That way your money can work for you instead of you having to work for the money. So the whole point is you have to continuously reinvent yourself and
Right.
continuously focus on what else you have what else you can do to kind of like create that continuous flow of multiplier of money, and that can be multiple things, whatever you're into. But I think we all know there money is now currently inflating,
Hmm.
and we have a situation where we need to be able to deflate that money in a way, or put that money to use in order to buy assets that actually appreciate rather than depreciate, as a
Hmm.
dollar has depreciated for years. Now it's time for us to take that and multiply our money in multiple streams of income. In this case, real estate, cars, e-commerce, campaign marketing, anything that you see in your horizon, you should do. Now we're doing it all at Credit Leverage X. So Robert, is a master of marketing, sales. I've done credit, real estate. Robert's also done wholesaling, and we've done property rentals, car rentals. All that stuff is all happening. So yeah, just thinking about how else we can multiply our money.
Yeah. I mean, so like one of the big things that I saw for Credit Leverage X, right? Well, the first thing that happened is, I wanted to become a coach, right? But I was broke. I couldn't afford any coaching programs. So I went and I got a job and I worked with Tanner Chittister, which then led me into real estate empire builders, right? And that's where we kind of like were wholesaling, and we had this great guy, Paul McComas, rest in peace. But he was going completely viral in making videos on TikTok, right? And the reason it was working so well is because it had a really big dream, which was real estate. It's like, oh, we will teach you how to get into real estate, and then it also had the $0 marketing aspect. So it's like, we'll teach you how to get into real estate, and you won't even have to spend any money to do the marketing to get the real estate, right? So it was like a really big dream, and it was a nationwide thing. And then basically that business kind of fell apart, and also Paul McComas got in a car wreck and passed away, sadly. But basically, like after that experience, it opened up my mind to like the opportunity to go big, right? To think big. And then when I met you, Gino, and you were telling me about, credit repair and funding, and it was all kind of like, a fugazi, but I did see the light. I was like, oh, everybody fucking needs this. There's a big dream, right? We can do nationwide, and so I was like, okay, there's the opportunity, right? And there was a long period of time between those two opportunities. But ever since I saw that first, first I saw the coaching opportunity because I wanted to make money without having to like just talking to people and like guiding people. You know what I mean? But aside from that, the big opportunity to multiply my money was something that helps people, something that everybody wants, and something that's way bigger than themselves. It gives people hope, right? Hope is a good drug, but it's also like if you have hope plus like a backup, like that actually gets people results, like that's groundbreaking, right? So I do kind of like the idea of thinking like constantly thinking about how can I multiply my money, and it's always about finding that next opportunity, right? Finding that next
Hmm.
thing that's going to take you to that next level,
Hmm.
which is also why, as soon as you kind of told me, and you saw it too when you had your mentor, you're like, oh shit, this little
Yeah.
guy is making a lot of money. Like, I want to get in on that, right? So it's always fun to find the opportunity, and be aware, like the opportunities only come around every now and then, right? The really good ones, right? But when they come, you have to go all in and you have to capitalize on it. You kind of got to put the blinders on for a little while to all the other opportunities. So
Yeah,
that was just kind of what I was thinking.
That's a very, very true fact, man. You encompass like the entire like idea of being able to kind of like grow, and how you can take that and what you can do with your product that you're creating, and how you can mass produce it or mass scale it. And really those factors are critical, right? Let's talk about real estate. Everybody needs a place to live. Like they need a place to live, right? They need a place they need a roof over their heads. They're gonna have to either pay rent or they're gonna have to buy a house. So for a fact this is a guaranteed investment, right?
Right.
It's like regardless of what happens to the dollar, as long as our ownership doesn't get taken away, we own the property, right? So that's the one thing that we can kind of rest our heads and sleep at night. And then the other thing is being able to if you're doing like car rentals, like people need to travel. Cars are necessary. This is something that we have every day, and sometimes not everybody has two cars. They usually have one car for the family or two cars for the family, and one person needs to go to work, or people need to rent cars.
So imagine people like used to walk everywhere, like the people in like third world countries, they carry like stacks of clothes and pots on their head, kids on their back,
like Alibaba and like the whole.
Yeah, we're spoiled, but we need transportation.
No, and I think what I'm seeing is what you're saying is like take these specific very simple concepts, and how you can apply this on a greater scale, and how everybody needs this, everybody wants this. So how do we make it bigger? How do we reach more people? How do we let people know that we have to that they need this, or that let's say they should they should want to rent a car from us, they should want to get a car, or they should want to get a rental from us, because properties at the end of the day, look, you can own a shit ton of properties, but if you don't know how to manage those properties right, and if you don't know how to take care of those properties, if you depend on someone else to do that for you, hopefully they're doing it right. Because a lot of places, you can live somewhere and you're not going to be happy living, and the client, you're going to have really a lot of turnaround time. I'm happy to say that my retention is pretty high. I rarely switch on my tenants because I don't raise rent. So everybody else wants to raise rent. That's your choice. I rather sleep at night and know my bills are getting paid. So everybody's at a different stage. But now if you want to do, for example, you talk about what we're doing right now is like, credit. So everybody needs credit, but it's like nationwide, affects a lot of people, and how we can bring that together and help people. That's the biggest factor. So as long as you're willing to help people, either fix a problem or get them from point A to point B, or get them to a destination, or provide a service like housing, then you are going to fix that problem in the world. And now you're supporting that, let's community of like us helping each other. And then people are going to be able to actually make money off that. So now not only are you making money, you're helping others, and other people could do the same. So it's like whenever I want to rent the car, I don't rent for myself, So if I want to rent the car, I might rent from someone else. I'm gonna go get myself, something I never had.
No,
you know what I mean?
I didn't tell you, we rented a car when we went to Colorado from this company called like Rent Fox rental car, and they were garbage, bro. I should have just gone with Turo or some other shit. I mean, it worked out, but we were just standing there for hours. They did not take debit card, which is really weird. They only took credit card because they want to fucking charge your ass at the end, obviously, for all the fucking extra shit, Anyways, but one thing I just had the epiphany when you were just talking, it's like we help you get the money, right? But if you really want to multiply the money, like you said, you need to find the right people. Like what you did, is you had the vision, right? And then you got the money, right? And then you kind of needed me or someone like me to manage and to like kind of put it all together, right? So I think that's really how a lot of people need to think about how they're going to multiply the money. It's like, first you got to get the money, right? That's a big step. But once you get the money, like joining our program, then you got to figure out what's your vision, right? What's the big thing you're going to do? Right. And then instead of you doing it, you need to find the right person, right? It's not the, what is it? It's not the how, it's the who, right? Who is going to manage this little real estate company? Who's going to manage this, next little thing for us? And that's how you can really start to multiply your money, because there's always time and there's always money when it comes to trying to build a business or trying to multiply. and
Right.
you'd only have so much time, right? You could have unlimited money, but you
Right.
still only have so much time. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
that's really how you can
And
multiply your money.
that's fire, because what you just said was, complete fire, because that's like saying, instead of having, 12 hours, 18 hours of work, because I work more than 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
I work, 13, 14, 15 hours a day, but I don't consider my work. I enjoy what I do.
Right.
I appreciate my, the work. I get satisfaction from the work. I change people's lives. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. But at the
Hmm.
same time, when I would help people, even in housing, I felt like I was responsible, to help these people, in their life, and that way they don't go homeless. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of that, and and also, you help everybody as long as you're helping them, whatever you're doing. If you're helping the client, you're helping your customer. They are just like you. They're humans. They have feelings. They have
Right.
problems. They have things that they need to work on, and everybody needs to work on themselves, right? And we're all working on ourselves, but we also are here to help each other. So I think, being able to talk about like how we can, and business wise, how we can make business more easier for everybody. Well, we need to leverage other people. So
Right.
that means like I can have 12 hours a day, 18 hours a day I'm working, but my 18 hours is not like 18 hours of just me doing one thing. I have multiple things that are happening, and I'm overseeing these things, and at the same time, they're being leveraged against properties, assets, people, and
Yeah.
then that's where my time is expanding. Now, for me, I'm actually working like 50 hours a day, actually,
Yeah.
because I got other people working 8-hour days, other people working 10-hour days, and we're just growing. So as more people join, I would say like our parade,
Our parade.
like our
Yeah.
parade.
Yeah.
It's more people are gonna more people are benefiting, more people are
Hmm.
making money.
Yeah.
Anybody that joins our company, they're gonna make money. It's guaranteed, and they're also gonna help people. And people are able, and those individuals are in our company that are getting help. They're gonna be able to help other people. So it's just gonna be like chain effect. And as a
Right.
result of that, it's really being able to leverage your people around you, family, friends, have them be the ones that if you have the vision, show that, like, explain that vision to them and show them what you're trying to accomplish,
Yeah.
and bring everybody together. And if they believe in you, if they believe in your vision, they believe that your vision is something, it might be like unbelievable, but like
Yeah.
you believe in it, and you can do it, and like it's something
Or
like
their
you.
next opportunity, right? That's
Exactly.
kind of what I said.
That's the next opportunity for that person. That
Yeah.
person that you brought in. Now that person is now forever changed for because you've created an opportunity for them. I've opened up businesses just because people were interested in it. That's how I started the car rental business. I had a kid who liked cars, and I said, "Hey, why don't you start fixing up the cars? I'll put my cars on the market." And then,
Hmm.
and then boom, right? And then he started doing the work, and I'm like, "Whoa, let's go ahead and get more cars." So
Yeah.
it's just like it just starts with one person that has interest, and then I'm a person of talent. I see talent in people. So if you're good, if you see an individual that has a skill set, and you can capitalize with that individual, do it. You
Right.
know, and help them create their vision, because if you're in a position to do that, you should do that. But if you're in a position where you need help, then seek it. Like,
Yeah.
talk to me, talk to Robert, go find another mentor. I don't care who it is. Like, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
get the help you need. And if you don't get the help you need, then you're never going to change.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing that I was just thinking is like about multiplying your money is like during that gap, where I first had that first opportunity and then Credit Leverage X came, I was always working on myself and improving myself. Like, and I never stopped doing that. It's like I'm an aggressive self educator. I'm an aggressive, like, getting better version of myself so that when that next opportunity does come up, I'm ready for that next
Mhm.
opportunity. Right. If I was just a lazy piece of shit that whole time, I don't think you would want to work with me. Right. So
Yeah.
that's another thing. You gotta like upgrade yourself constantly. You gotta find other people that are wanting to upgrade their lives as well. And then you need to learn, come join our business, learn how to leverage money, and then use that money to create a vision and then leverage other people with the money and then create this constant opportunity, constant growth One of the craziest things I remember thinking is like, this world, this life, like it wants us to grow. It wants us to grow abundantly. Like you don't see a tree stop growing because it's tired. Like the tree is going to get as big as it fucking can. You know what I mean? We're going to get as big as we fucking can. Humans are the only ones that like self-sabotage themselves and like fucking shoot themselves in the foot when things are getting bigger and better because, ego or whatever reason it is. But it's kind of interesting to think about.
It's the human nature.
Yeah.
The only thing you can do is try to, work on yourself, right? And fix those things. So you mentioned one thing that, being able to work hard, being able to, get those skill sets that you need in order to be successful. Yeah. If you ever want to get into a field like credit funding, you ever want to get into a field of like, business, real estate, you need to have certain skill sets that are, that are useful for other people to use. I mean, you have to have, if you're not going to do it yourself, if you can't just, you can't do everything, right? So learn 1 or 2 or 3 skill sets or, really, really well, and use that as your
high income skills is what I would call them.
So high income skill sets, just because you want to get into real estate, learn how to wholesale, if that's something that
learn how to talk to people,
learn how to talk to people. If that's something you want to do to make more money. Now, you could also go and you would have to quit your job or whatever to do that. I've seen wholesaling. I realized that when I was doing wholesaling and I was working.
Yeah, it's a full-time job, man.
It's a full-time job. So I knew I had to. I knew I had to make a decision. So I was like, but wholesaling to me wasn't enough to quit my job. But this was. Yeah, for me, it was like, well, something there had to be a bigger vision. It had to be bigger than just wholesaling real estate. And I was like, well, I can just pay wholesale, and just pay them a fee and get my own and just buy real estate,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't quit my job, but I basically tried to launch a full-time wholesaling business. And I learned really quickly that it's a shitty business model because you don't have control over the people. You don't have control over the real estate. Sure, there is large checks and large cash, but there's just so many variables that you have no control over. You know what I mean? Like that was the biggest thing that I learned from that business model. It's like, yeah, like I can be the middleman, but being the middleman only works if I am really good at like herding cats and making sure everybody comes together. And I would be doing nationwide deals, right? So I'm trying to fucking close the deal in Alabama and the fucking cash buyer decides to take a nap when it's closing time or whatever, and it's just like, man, like it was, so we made a lot of money, but then we had like 5 deals fall through all at the same time while we were still spending a lot of money on wholesaling and all these other people depending on it. And it was just a shitty business model. So it was a good lesson for me to learn essentially. But, because I thought it was the holy grail, but I just didn't have the resources back then because I was getting deals. I could buy a house in Alabama or Georgia for like $5,000 if I wanted to, or I could make enough calls where I would get the most ridiculous deals just because I knew what I was doing. And then I would have to find these cash buyers, and it was just kind of like interesting. But now that I know more about real estate, I can go back into that business model, and I wouldn't never do it full time again. I would not do that full time. But now that I know how to do creative financing and I have the resources and I have the ability, I can still make cash wholesaling, right? But I will actually want to buy the real estate this time, as opposed to just being the middleman. I want to be the buyer now. I want to come in. I want to use the skills that I learned wholesaling to buy the assets, to create the cash flow. That's just going to change my life, right? So it was a very good learning, but it's also, wholesaling by itself is a shitty business model. It's just like, there's a lot of shitty business models is what I'm trying to get at. So shitty business models will not multiply your money. They will screw you up. So you got to have the right opportunity, and it has to be something that I went all in on wholesaling too. And I learned really quickly that it was shitty, but I never would have learned that if I didn't go all in. Right. So it was still valuable to figure that out. So that's why we're here now.
You're definitely saying things that are valid. And then that's one of the reasons I don't like making money.
Yeah. Right. You like making
assets weird.
Or
something weird. I just tell you straight up, like, even though I love using other people's money to make money. I don't like making money.
Right.
Because whenever I have to be the middleman and all I'm doing is, taking a real estate deal and I'm flipping it with someone else, I'm just taking that cut, right? That money, unless you need that money, and if you have no other income, oh, so be it, make that your income. I'm saying like
Right.
use that as your income. But if you have other incomes, other more stable incomes, where you're not working like a dog just to get a deal,
Right.
and it's like literally that's what it is. You have to be like it might be like 10 people fighting for the same deal, and you're gonna have to be the best, and your skill sets are gonna have to be really high, and you're gonna have to talk right, you're gonna have to say the right things, you're gonna have to give them more, you're gonna have to be more of everything in order for that deal to come to you, right?
Right.
And it takes two things: it's knowing how to, it's having the skill sets, having the money, and the people that you can trust and depend on, your buyers, right? Those are so important, and that's why it's everything. And it's hard to be the middleman and not control the buyers or the sellers. So you kind of want to be both, okay?
Yeah.
And you want
to have some control. That's the big thing.
Yeah, and control is the most important. So you want to control your, if you could control what you're gonna get in return for what you invest, then you have a sustainable business, right? Or business model. So you need, and in order to do that, you need to be able to invest and get a return. But now if you're buying real estate in Alabama, you can flip that property and make some money. But at the end of the day, you took an asset that you should have bought, honestly.
Right. I should have bought a lot of these deals. I should have bought all the fucking deals, bro.
You should have bought.
I'd be a millionaire right now.
But the thing is, you were depending on that income in order to buy the deals. So that's where So
and our whole team was depending on that income. So it's like I have to make it happen. Now I have overhead and shit.
Well, part of the reason everybody wants to have high income, but they also want stability. So it's like you gotta decide. Either you get stability, or you get the high income. So you got to choose what you want, right? And I think that most of my life I wanted the stability because I wanted to be able to do real estate or buy or do stuff that I enjoy and love to do, but I needed the money to do it. So don't make, if real estate is your dream, that's fine. But you need to find another way to make money, right? Either wholesaling all day, being on the phone, or building a team and doing it right. Or but you have to have the money to do it. If you don't have the money, don't do it. And at the same time, if you have the opportunity of doing something else that's going to make a fast return or quicker returns on your money, you use that as your vehicle for income. So you need to have a active income, high paying active income. And then you have your assets and things that you invest in, like watches, cars, and houses. And those will be your money like holders, right? Where you put your money in and it stays there. So I would just say you need the biggest thing, epiphany for me, was making money while investing. So but you have to make a lot of money. Okay. You need to make a lot of money. And if you're making one stream of income, if you just have a job, that's one stream of income. I'm not saying get rid of it because that's your only stream of income. Go get another one. Go get another one. Go get another one. Get up to 5. I have 7 streams of income right now. 7. Right. So 7 streams of income, and one of them is investments. So that's also an income now, but it's still, but I'm going to grow that. So my passive is still lower than my active, but as I grow, my passive will become the main income. Right. So that's how we grow. But you have to have that epiphany. You cannot depend on your dream to make you the money you need to make the dream bigger. You have to find other ways to make the money to fulfill your dreams, by feeding your dream.
Yeah. I watched a TikTok randomly, but obviously Alex Hormozy, he was saying, you should start doing it when you're busy, right? Everybody says they're going to start their business or whatever when they have more free time. But the reality is you should start it when you're fucking busy. And then if you end up with some free time, even better. But you're always going to be busy. You're always going to be doing all kinds of things. It's better just to get it done while you're busy, burn the midnight oil, wake up fucking early, put in the work to get whatever you want to have multiple streams of income, but do it when you're busy. Right. And then if you end up having more free time, then great. But if you can do it while you're busy and keep it going, then you're going to build a whole new thing while you're busy, as opposed to just like being lazy, saying I'll start tomorrow, whatever it is. Right.
Well, Exactly, and
Yeah.
people are not spending the time wisely, right? So that's what
Yeah,
it
it's a
comes
big
down
thing
to.
too.
You work hard every day. You get up early. You do your job. You do what you got to do. You manage your other businesses, and then you do your active and passive jobs. So at the end of the day,
Right.
you have to, even if it's passive, you still have to look at it. You still have to make sure everything is good. If I leave my
Hmm.
tenants alone, the house is gonna burn down. You know what I mean? Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, the other day we had like some guy drew a drive by, like, what's it
Paintballs.
called? Paintball shoot. The whole house was shot up with
Man.
paintball. I'm like,
I thought that conversation was gonna go a lot different. He's like, "Your house got lit up," and I was like, What does that mean? Is on fire?" No, it was paintballs. Still though, that sucks, man.
yeah, but yeah, and I think it's working. I think you said the most important stuff, and that's working your ass off while you're
Yeah.
busy. So
Yeah.
So you don't go to work and come home and and then go out and have a beer, or go have dinner, and then go home and sit on the couch and watch TV. Right? You're not going to change your life. So you have to literally work from sun up or sunrise to sundown. Like, you
Yeah.
have to work the
But
entire time.
you should choose what you're working on, because like you said, you enjoy what you work on. I
Right.
enjoy usually what I work on, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you want to enjoy it. You want it to be something that's like inspires you. It's that hope that we were talking about. It's that thing that you're going to see for yourself to have a better life. You have a better future, a better outcome, and you have to be working for it consistently while working on yourself, while still having friends and keeping relationships, because otherwise, you get boring or whatever. And you got to go on some adventures every now and then too. But you got to keep fucking working. It never stops, and it shouldn't never
Well,
stop. Like me and my girlfriend were talking about. We're like, we're probably never going to retire, right? I'm always just going to be building something for people, trying to help people or whatever. Because I think as soon as you retire, you start dying. Like literally, like as soon as you like say, "Oh, I'm just not going to work anymore," and then that's when people die. That's like literally
yeah,
like, "Oh, life's over now," because they lose ambition, they lose motivation, they lose
yeah.
the spirit that's pulling them, wherever they need to go. And it's just weird to think about that. I mean, retirement sounds cool, but then we've already talked about it. It's like you take, a couple weeks off and you're like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, this sucks. You get all
No,
grumpy for no
no,
reason.
yeah. There's no
I don't know.
retirement. The
No, there's no
retirement is
retirement.
retirement is those are the baby boomers.
Yeah, exactly.
They're all waiting for their retirement to get their $6
Yeah.
million pension. And when
Yeah.
I was working at these Howard Hughes plants or Boeing or whatever, but the waiting to get paid is over. Like
Yeah.
that don't depend on anyone to make your retirement what it should be, right? You need to
Right.
make that for yourself. And I
Mhm.
was lucky enough to go into the I would say the private commercial sector rather than the government federal sector. So that if I
Mhm.
was in the federal sector, I would have had a cushy job. I would have known I would have had my pension. I would have been sitting. That's how they get you. That's how they get you.
Mhm.
So once they get you tied up to your pension, they got you tied up to your 401k. They get you tied up to your salary and your 3% raises every year, and go buy yourself a cookie. That's when they get you. And then at that point, you become so complacent that you become so used to it that you
Yeah.
cannot see that ever going away. But you don't do anything else while you're working or while you're doing. So you need to start doing things while you're working if you want to do other things. Like if you want more real estate, you want more cars, you want more
Yeah.
of anything, you need to do the work necessary to go get that thing. That means
Mhm.
that means while you're working, don't you
Yeah.
have to do it both at the same time.
My stepdad, he worked for a company. I think he said it was either 17 or 27 years, and they just let him go, right? And they fired all of the older, what's it called when you're like the higher up engineers? You know what that is? I don't know. Whatever. They fired
That's not like
all the experienced people basically because they want to
senior
hire all the
engineers.
cheap. Yeah, they fired all the senior engineers. They got a bunch of Indians or cheap labor basically. Like whatever it is. But so he's getting a severance, right? And he's like telling me, he's like, I kind of just want to put all of it into crypto. And I'm like, oh shit, because he's really into he reads Median and he's all about crypto. So he was telling me about something called elephant money, right? And elephant money is some new fucking crypto thing or whatever. But he's like, that's how he thinks he might multiply the bag. Cause he's like, I never want to work again. He's like, I'm getting a fat check. So he's like, I'm trying not to put it all in there because then I might be at risk. But, you know, there's lots of ways to multiply your money, you know, at the end of the day. But you got to be educated. You got to find the opportunities. But depending on a company or depending on a safe job or somebody else giving you your paycheck is not a finite thing anymore. That was the old, you know, 50s bullshit white picket fence dream. That's a lie now. That's a complete lie. You cannot, you are more secure building your own skills and building your own business than you are working for these big companies, you know, unless you're like the VP or something.
Yeah, exactly. And even then you don't own it. So
yeah,
at the end of the day, you have to be the owner. It doesn't matter what, to me, now, I mean, before I would, you know, I would like, oh, I just rent this or I go buy this or, you know, whatever. Like if I didn't own it, I didn't care. But now it's, I think, you know, if anything, you have to start to own what you do. So whatever you do, own that specific either job, task, asset, whatever you're using to make yourself money or whatever you're doing to, you know, grow, you need to own it. And that's the only thing that we have, you know, is on our side is that we do have the Constitution, and it's going to keep us, you know, on that level of like, we own this stuff, right? We have this stuff. So we have access, and not only access, we have rights to this stuff, and this is our stuff. So we get to keep that. And that's the only thing that America has, you know, done so well, is that, you know, the biggest thing I would say, not the only thing, but the biggest thing is that they've been allowed, you know, individuals, even from other countries, to come into this country and change their life, right? And I'm an example of that. And then you don't have to be, you know, if you're born in this country, you should be the first person to be. You should be teaching other people how to change their life. You know, you should be the one doing that, because that you have all the opportunities, you know, from day one, right? There's people in other third world countries. I talk to people all over the world because you know, family all over the world, friends, people you know, in different countries, and associates, business partners, everybody that have come here, they all wish they can come here. Everybody wants to come to America. So it's like, you're here, you are don't get spoiled, right? You're spoiled already, right? You're spoiled already just by being here. Now take advantage of that. Use that as your vehicle to do more, because you now you are you know, you've been blessed to be here, and now you have that opportunity. Use that and make a difference. You know, what are you going to do in your life other than have a job, have a family, possibly have kids, and die? You know, what else are you going to do? You know, what are you going to do if you're just going to do that and breathe air? Honestly, like that, you know, hopefully your kids make a difference.
No, I made a promise to myself that if I ever, you know, got successful, I'd try and help the little guy. So I'm pretty much, that's what we're doing here, man. That's why we're fucking.
Well, that's why we're doing it. We're trying to motivate people to really start making the change in their life, you know?
Yeah. So get off your ass, book a call with one of our team members. It's a free funding strategy call. Like if you've ever wanted to figure out how to get access to money, you know, we literally will hop on a call with you and help you, coach you on how we can help you get access to money and how you can do it as well. That's pretty much all I got for today's episode. You got anything else, you know, before we wrap up?
No, this is great. Multiply your money, do it right, and join Credit Leverage X. We'll help you do it if you haven't done it already. We'll get you there faster. I promise you that.
Yep. And I just made our website even sexier. So go to creditleveragex.com, take a look. Feel free to send me some messages if you want to judge it or whatever. But learn what we're doing, and I'll talk to you guys on the next one. See ya.